Hello and welcome to this miniature bottle cap cake video. This is an easy do-it-yourself miniature project using plastic bottle caps to decorate tiny faux cakes for display in small scenes, dollhouses, kitchens, bakeries, celebrations, and party foods for 1/6, 1/12, 1/24, or 1/48 scales. Smaller scales could also be made using pony beads or small buttons. The cake base is from cleaned plastic bottle caps, with the paint being used as the frosting or fondant icing to top cover. And then you decorate with string, paper, sand, microbeads, glitter, seed beads, small buttons, or tiny foam balls. This is a fun project and it's inexpensive to do by recycling, altering, reclaiming, saving, upcycling, or just a creative reuse of the plastic bottle caps. 15 years ago, I made a 25th celebration set display for use on a real-size tabletop decoration. I decided to try the project again with some variations. I do use bottle caps quite a bit in my miniatures, especially as glue, paint, or material holders. I have also made some other miniature video projects with them for a food dehydrator, the base inside of the beehive skeep, and as a robotic vacuum cleaner. The circle caps range in sizes from 3/8 to 1/7 of an inch in diameter, with heights of 1/2 inch to 3/4 inches or so. Select and prepare the bottle caps. Wash with a dish soap, rinse, and let dry thoroughly. Spray paint the bottle caps. I use an any surface product. Make sure that plastic is listed as part of the any surface coverage. You could apply any color, like white, cream, chocolate, browns, pinks, blues, greens. Secure the bottle caps on easy release tape on top of a paper or cardboard mat. Then spray outside on a non-windy day or in a well-ventilated area as per the paint manufacturer instructions. Apply a second and/or a third coat of paint if necessary, drying thoroughly in between the coats. You could add a bottom edge piping effect with string, or just leave the bottle cap as it is. Here are some piping ideas using sewing or crochet thread, bunka cording, kite string. Ribbon and quilling strips could also be used. Cut a piece larger than the outside bottom edge diameter. I'm using a size 3 crochet thread. Next, apply glue to your fingertips and place the glue around the strip. This is to prevent fraying. When the thread is dry, add glue bits around the bottle cap edge and then press the thread around the cap edge. But if you like the bottle cap the way it is, then don't add the piping. To add the faux thread piping around the edge, I glue small sections at a time and then go around and around, pressing it to the cap. So in this part of the video I have speeded up and it's just showing me going around gluing and adding the piping. With scissors, cut off the extra thread once the ends meet and are glued. Then place the cap on a plastic protector or wax paper, pressing the piping down with your finger so it's flat against the paper, but yet you're still making sure it's against the bottom edge of the cap. I also like to add a little bit of glue to the bottom edge of the thread piping, then set the cap down on its top to dry. Then apply a final coat of acrylic paint to the entire outside of the bottle cap, including the new string piping. You can use any paint color. I'm using a cream-like one called Oyster White. You may have to do this in little steps too, like a part of the cap, paint it, let it dry, then go around and do the other half so you don't get your fingers in it. And if you're using a different color than your base, then you may need to do a second or third coat as well. But make sure you get that string piping so it's really full of the color. As I am painting these, the cream oyster white, I'm thinking about what my primary goal is, and that's to make celebration cakes like I did 15 years ago using the soda caps and other caps too to make it tiered. But then I want to try some other ideas. So while those are drying, for this idea, I select smaller bottle caps, and the very smallest ones are pony beads. Ideally, these should be spray painted with a primer first, but I just went ahead and applied the acrylic paint right onto the caps. And then for the darker colors, the browns, the greens, the blue, the silver, and the pink, I had to apply a second and third coat. These smaller bottle caps would work, I think, also for 1/12 scale for smaller cakes, but I think you could use it for 1/24 and 1/48 as well. Let the paint dry thoroughly. And then add a matte sealer if you'd like. Now to decorate. For the small chocolate cake, I glue small flat brown paper hearts around the side, and then on the top I glue 3 red 1/8 circles that I stylus pressed into flower shapes, surrounded by brown stylus pressed stars and circles to give it an iced flower look. The larger chocolate cake has a water splash shaped design punched from brown paper and applied to the sides, and then it has the paper red stars for the flowers shaped with a stylus, and then the chocolate flowers surround it. For the festive blue cake, I stylized small paper stars that I purchased in bright yellow, orange, and pink for the top and edging. Then I glued white circles around the side with smaller green dots. Then I applied a turquoise painted edge around the top. I punched several green paper sunburst pieces for leaves and then glued it inside the flowers. Then I tried to make a princess cake or a Swedish princess cake, and a lot of them have a dome shape and they're kind of green and a green color, and then they have like pink flowers on the top or a design. Although I have never tried a real Swedish princess cake, but they sound delicious with raspberry jam, custard, whipped cream layered in between cake pieces, and then covered in a classic green marzipan. Marzipan is mostly made out of almond flour and water, while the fondant is mostly made out of confectioner's sugar and corn syrup. For the pink flowers, I'm just using little circles or little stars, and then I use a stylus to press them into the foam, and then I glue them inside each other. And 2 and 3 just to kind of give it that little iced rose shape. And then I use a starburst green for the leaves. And then I add a strip of green quilling paper around the bottom edge. Alright, now I'm ready to make the tiered celebration cakes in an updated process from 15 years ago. This time I'd like to try making cascading rosettes along the sides. And stickers. I plan on making 3 tiered cakes, one with a gold pale yellow, another blue, and the other red. And then I want to be able to change the topper, like if it's a number celebration cake or maybe something that says happy birthday or congratulations on the top. So I want to make that little top thing changeable. I paper punch out a bunch of stars and circles in the different colors so that I can use the stylus to shape them into little floral rosettes. And I use light blue paper, and then for variation I use a light blue marker to give the 2 different shades, and I do the same thing with the red. With the gold and yellow cake, I just use the pale yellow copy paper, and then I'm going to use parts of that doily, and I punch those out too. Once I think I have enough little rosettes stylized, I put them in little plastic tubs to kind of give me an idea of what I have. And that includes small flowers, little flowers, shaped into rosettes with the stylus. I'm going to use some cream flowers intermixed with the different red, gold, and blue flowers. And then I'm using heart shapes to put the numbers on, and they're from Paper Orchid. They're laser cut stationery bits. And on those heart toppers, I'm going to use stickers in the number shapes, and then I'm going to color them if I need them. The gold's going to go good with the gold, and then for the blue and the red, I just color those sticker numbers, and then I'm going to put them on top or in the center of those hearts. The hearts are kind of a cardstock paper. They're about a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, and the sticker's about a 1/4 inch in height. Stickers onto the center of the hearts with a little bit of tacky glue. I've selected the sapphire, the ruby, and the gold colors, for the traditional color themes for those anniversaries. This gold paper doily has this texture in the center, little crisscrosses. I like that part. And so I'm going to use the gold and then just color it with the blue marker to get little blue hearts, and then with the red marker to get red hearts, thinking I'm going to put these on the cakes, and then punch them out. The cream colored laser cut heart topper holder is held together by 3 paper rosettes in the color of the anniversary cake with little leaves put in between that I stylized into a triangle shape. And then I kind of put a paper base underneath just to make sure I get a little triangle shape. Like the foil doily, I just use the marker and I color over the numbers into the blues or the reds that I want, let it dry, and then I put that into the center of those laser cut hearts. When I look back at the cake I did from 15 years ago, the 25th anniversary is usually silver, so you can make the cake any color that you want. For the 2-tiered blue flower cake, I glue a 1/4-inch blue doily paper hearts around the edges, side edges. I start first with the back seam of a heart, and then I go across from that and do the front, get the sides, and then fill in just to make it even. The flowers are a light blue copy or print paper, and then I use a Bic marker that's called Blue Skies Blues to make the light blue a little bit darker, so I have coordinating colors. I use various shapes of 5-petal flowers, stars, and circles in different sizes to make the layered rosettes. And then I use the stylus on a foam mat just to give the flat paper shapes some texture or stylize them, gently pressing in the center down into the foam mat. And once I get the shape I kind of like, then I usually will try to use a tweezers to lift it and pull it out so I can keep that little curved shape. Here I show you the 3 rosettes that form the topper base to hold the cream heart. And for the blue cake, I think I'm going to add a little bit more paper decorations. So I start by putting little rosettes around the bottom edges of each of the 2 tiers, alternating the colors, the blue, light blue, green, and then I put silver micro dots in the center of the blues. Like I did with the foil hearts around the sides, I start at the back seam, and the back seam is where the 2 pieces of the piping string come together, and then I work my way around to the front. And that means by adding the decoration in the back, repeating the design to the opposite of the back to the front, and then filling in on the middle sides in between the front and the back. To make the cascade, I place the topper in the center on the first layer, and then I use large flowers and put them from the top to the middle tier and a little bit on the bottom tier, and then fill in with small flowers and greenery. The 2-tiered red cake, I use a similar process. I decide not to put the red foil flowers on the sides. I use it for another cake. And then I just go ahead and make the cascade. I come down the other side, the opposite side as I did with the blue, and I just fill in with small flowers. And then with the 3-tiered gold and pale yellow cake, I use a similar process again, and I start at the top to make my cascade, going the first, second, and bring the cascade down to the 3rd level. And then I add the gold hearts around the middle tier. I really do like my updated version, adding the cascade to the anniversary cakes. And I made some more cakes. One with a yellow ducky topper with tiny foam balls for the bubbles, and then I used the splash punch blue paper on the side and yellow rosettes for the ducky, and then little blue flowers all the way around the edge. The teddy bear face cake has tiny punched paper bears alternating in light and brown all around the sides, and then a brown flower face with flat tan paper circles for the inner ears and the nose area. I added black and white paper punches for the eyes and a little dot for the center. Here's my little silver cascade cake, a glittery snowflake cake with baguette, seed beads on the top, and then glass paint for the little flame. A cream colored cake with the little red doily hearts. And then a sport cake, kind of for football, with the blue and white stars. another look at the festive cake, a little white heart cake, the chocolate cakes, and some tiny cakes made from pony beads. There are so many ideas of cakes that could be made. Or make a miniature reproduction of a family friend birthday, anniversary, wedding cake as a tiny reminder. In addition to the small scale displays these cakes make, they are great gifts for mementos for real scale shelves and desks. I hope you like this video, making and decorating plastic bottle caps for miniature cakes. Thank you so much for watching and sharing.